just a few weeks ago, Target had a bunch of their employees come here to downtown Minneapolis to their headquarters. They had these team building exercises. It was a huge back to work initiative. And then now today we're learning that they're going to be basically laying off 8% of its workforce. How do those things, how are they compatible?
These are a significant cost-cutting initiative by Target. Look, Target is under enormous pressure from new competition, from existing competition, from other types of market forces, inflation, pressure put on tariffs, specifically goods it sells like electronics and apparel and toys and things of that nature. It struggled with 11 consecutive sluggish quarters and stagnant growth. So these cost-cutting measures are really necessary for the company to sort of improve the bottom line on the cost side of the ledger, and then beginning to invest in real initiatives to increase its revenue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking of increasing its revenue, I was reading about Target that they've lost their shares have fallen 65% since they were in 2021. I know competitors are out there like Amazon, namely. Really, why has Target kind of lost its foothold that it seemed like it had just a few short years ago?
Well, clearly there's been a lot of backlash amongst the DEI situation, which has cut into a lot of their profits and their revenue. Okay, it's had to deal with new competition. It's had to deal with Amazon and Walmart really upping their games with respect to optimization and last mile delivery. Even things like store performance and the in-store experience, which the new CEO cited as major areas, goals to improve the in-store experience for customers. All of that is true. And in addition, you can't ignore the enormous impact that inflation has had. Consumers don't have the type of discretionary income they've had a decade or so ago. And that's really cut in to Target's business model.
You talk about those DEI initiatives. For those at home that might not know, what were the initiatives that they put in place, and why do you think that those initiatives ultimately affected their bottom line?
Well, Target became one of the early lightning rods for folks to mobilize around this move away from DEI, which, by the way, is the trend in most corporate boardrooms today. But with respect to being a major retailer, I really felt a lot of the brunt of that pullback from advocacy groups that were very concerned about Target's high-profile retreat from DEI. And the other factor here is just automation, okay, and the role that robotics is playing with its main competitors, Walmart and Amazon. Okay, Amazon plans to automate roughly 75% of its operations. Okay, so there's enormous pressure for Target to incorporate more robotics, more automation, things like inventory management, last mile inventory, logistics, etc.
What do you mean when you say automation? I think that's a term that I have a rough idea as to what that could mean, but you talk about robotics and whatever, are you talking about actual robots like packing packages and shipping them out without a human ever touching a box? How does automation work?
Yes, I mean, the modern day fulfillment center is highly automated, from packaging, but also inventory fulfillment, but also a lot of the AI that's replacing a lot of the corporate positions at companies like Target and Amazon. Incorporating artificial intelligence to do real-time inventory management to get products off the shelves to the consumer in the least costly and the fastest way possible. Now, all of that is resulting in a move away from labor-intensive offices into more artificial intelligence. And it's really a triple whammy. It's not just the corporate head office and the actual stores, but also distribution centers. I think we're going to begin to see more automated payment systems, things that Target already has, but I think you're going to see even more of that in the months and years ahead as this pressure becomes unrelenting to compete not just with Amazon and Walmart, but other startups entering the marketplace.
John, the incoming CEO of Target, said that there are too many layers and overlapping work happening at the company. What do you think he meant exactly by that?
I think when you talk about redundant cost structures, it's duplicity of corporate functions, and that's one of the major reasons why CEOs do major cost-cutting initiatives to cut redundant staff. And now with the new successful precedents of other companies utilizing artificial intelligence, there becomes a real case study and models for Target to really model this cost-cutting initiative after. The message really for the economic development community is twofold. Number one, this will actually enhance the labor market for existing companies in the Twin Cities that are looking to scale up and hire highly skilled workers. It's also an upskilling opportunity for technical colleges to really retrain workers for things like HVAC and plumbing, even industries like drones and advanced manufacturing that are increasingly using robotics and automation. The state workforce program, the Smartify program, I suspect will be a major force to integrate a lot of these laid off workers back into the Minnesota workforce.
Yeah, and you mentioned Amazon and automation earlier. It's not just Target that's laying off workers. Amazon, while they may not be laying off workers per se, they're saying that they're not going to add workers. They want to increase their product sales by double by 2023, or pardon me, by 2033, without adding a single American job. How can Amazon do that? Not add a single U.S. job and double the amount of inventory that they already have going on right now?
Amazon really has been the industry leader with robotics and automation. But at the same time, Amazon is investing in billions of dollars in new capital intensive projects throughout the U.S. with Amazon Web Services. That's creating development and construction jobs coast to coast. It's creating networking and hardware and software jobs coast to coast. So it is creating brick and mortar jobs. We're seeing more of those jobs, high paying jobs with Amazon Web Services, as well as other industries Amazon continues to be a transformative force in. Things like healthcare, banking and finance, transportation, and film and multimedia.
John, it wasn't even too long ago on this very show that we were talking about Amazon building brand new warehouses here in Minnesota. It was going to bring in tens of thousands of jobs here to the state. And now we learned about this information. So how does Amazon go from maybe saying that several months ago, or maybe even a couple of years ago, to now kind of taking this stance of, hey, we're actually not going to be adding actual American jobs to that, but we still want to increase the product inventory that we have going out?
I think Amazon has been one of the largest private sector employers in the U.S. over the past few decades. We suspect it'll continue to do that, but it has to respond to market forces, global market forces, financing rates, inflation, tariffs, all of those things. These are temporary pullbacks that companies like Amazon and Target will do, but you like to think it's for the long-term health of the company, and it'll result in other investments in high growth areas. With respect to Amazon, some of those high growth areas that I just mentioned.
John, would you say that the in-store experience is dying here in the United States? I mean, I'll speak for myself personally. If I'm getting toothpaste or paper towels or soap or whatnot, I'm going to go to Amazon and have that delivered. I'm a Prime member. I'll have that delivered to my apartment in a day. You go to Target and you might be even paying more for those same products, and then you got to lug it to your car, lug it back. It's a whole process. Do you think that in-store experience that Target really kind of bills itself as and prides itself on, you think it's dying? The days weren't so long ago when I was a kid, and my mom, you go get Target popcorn and the icy, and it was a whole thing. The whole in-store experience was a thing. You think that experience is kind of going away here?
Yes, it is. So, for the in-store retailers, brick and mortar retail, it's about experience-based retail. And I think the Target CEO really echoed that, needing to reinvest and reimagine what the in-store experience is like for the Target consumer. Okay, more and more sales are being done online. This is especially true with respect to food and beverage products, also pharmacy and pharmacy products, okay, which account for roughly 15% of all retail sales today are done online. It's projected to be closer to 30% by 2040, maybe even more than that, given all the radical advances that we see happening with artificial intelligence and streamlining those last mile delivery systems. So yes, the in-store experience needs to be improved for brick and mortar retailers to be competitive. The big buzzword is, experience-based retail. There's no reason Target can't be an industry leader in that, just as it was a decade or so ago.
John, I'll leave you with this. Amazon has all these plans to double the products that they want to put out by 2033. Is there a world where maybe Target Corporation doesn't exist by, I don't know, it's 2025, 15 years, 2040? I mean, do you think that could happen, that they could just go out of business altogether by then?
I don't suspect that at all. I mean, I think despite the 11 consecutive quarters of sluggish performance, Target continues to be a global leader. It has a very loyal global consumer base. It has very smart executives in its C-level suite. I think it's responding to some temporary concerns, market forces. We expect them to correct this. Cost cutting is a necessary step. It's a painful step, but one that companies must do to remove redundant cost structures and have the capital to invest in new revenue creating initiatives.